You're listening to the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. Each week, I'm going to be interviewing top realtors from coast to coast to give you a backstage pass on how they've created their amazing real estate empires and how you can copy them. Hey, this is Craig Proctor, and welcome to the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. Today, my special guest is Bob Lucido and his team. We've got Robert here as well. Bob and Robert, welcome to the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show.
Thank you, Craig. Pleasure to be here.
Hey, tell us a little bit about you. Your production is amazing. You're a great influence here in real estate. I'm so glad to have you with us on the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show today. But give everyone that perhaps may not know who you are a little bit of background about your career in real estate and how we first met and what your vision is going forward.
Be glad to, Craig. I'm 66. I've been in real estate since I was 18, 48 years. For 32 years, all I sold was new home sales, and we had the second largest new home sales company in the country, selling about 3,000 homes a year, and we were in 16 states. Everything was great till 2008. Total shift in the market crashed, and I shifted my business because a lot of our builders went out of business. We went into the resale business, and I really didn't know what I was doing because I never sold resales before. So I reached out to your team and was glad that I invested in your services. I made a mistake in that I didn't continue after the first year. That was a big mistake because we're totally transforming our business now since the last year we've been working with you. So since 2009-10, we've been growing our team in Maryland, and we have expansion teams throughout the country and in Canada. But really, I feel like now we are finally have our stuff together and organized to really grow domestically and internationally. We've got the value propositions, and with your help, we've transformed our business from being just a extraordinary service business, which is important that you have, but into a guarantee business. And people love it when you put your money where your mouth is. So we're really excited about what we're doing. We've now added, thanks to your help, a mortgage operation. And we feel like we're just rookies again, getting started, but now we have all the knowledge and all the tools.
Let's talk about some of these guarantees and how you differentiate yourself from all the other real estate agents.
Well, we do, like many agents, listing and buyers. I don't do work many buyers. We're probably one of the top listing agents in Maryland, maybe in the country, for the number of transactions we do and the volume for the listings. We transformed this, and it's been a real game changer. We're going in, and with the new commission situation with the Department of Justice, we're sharing that people should focus on hiring the best listing agent that they can hire, and you should pay them well. And it's up to them whether they want to pay a buyer's agent or not. We're giving them the option, but you want to hire the best listing agent. And we do something nobody else does. We put our money where our mouth is, and we offer guarantees. One of the guarantees is we'll sell your house for list price or more. You all helped educate us on that process, or we'll pay the difference. That's been exceptionally well. We've implemented the guarantee many times, and we've been successful with it many times. Only had 2 times where we had to actually pay the difference, but I'm glad to do it because those are great testimonials. We also have a guaranteed sale program. You're notorious for that, but we condense the days because of this great market. Sometimes we'll do 39 days. Sometimes days we'll do 57 days, or we'll buy it for cash at a price acceptable to you.
How many transactions did your team do last year?
I'll have to check. Robert would confirm, probably close to 1,700 to 2,000, but we've plateaued the last year or two. But over the last year, since we've implemented your systems, we are now have positioned for extraordinary growth, and we're really excited about it.
First of all, I think that's amazing that you sell so many houses. You have to defer to Robert to let you know, but 1,700, 1,800 transactions is amazing. When did you make the decision that you were going to expand outside of your primary marketplace and open up offices all over the country?
We decided in around 2015, and it's been a lot of trial and error, like a lot of people, when you go beyond your hometown. We finally feel we're in a position now where we've earned our master's degree, and we've got really our systems and processes down, and coupled with your guarantees and support, we're offering our teams something that they don't have: a world-class ISA operation, technology that Robert will share. It's state-of-the-art technology. And number three, our mortgage operation, which really gives us a competitive advantage to offer buyers something that nobody else does. So differentiating yourself and guaranteeing is making a difference in our business and teams wanting to join us.
Well, speaking of Robert, let's bring Robert into the conversation. Robert, thanks for being with us today. So explain to everybody how you fit into the business here, what role you play, and how the structure of your business looks.
Well, I'll start with the structure. The structure is basically there's different divisions of the business. There's one that's a B2B service business with other teams across the country. There's one that's a B2B service business with brokerages across the country. And then there's a side of things that it's our own team. And then lastly, there's the mortgage operation and the technology side of things. So there's really different almost operating units within the overall business under one banner that serves different roles for that collective business. My role is basically a chief strategy officer, so helping to run those businesses and make sure that everything is cohesive.
And when did you start? When did you start in real estate?
Started in real estate in end of 2018. Before that, I was playing baseball.
I see all the bats behind you. So perfect training for real estate, right?
Yeah, perfect segue, right? Boot camp.
So here's a question for both of you. We've seen a lot of changes in real estate, especially, what's about to come. Many agents are going to struggle with the fact that I was quoting before we got started, the national stats last year were 49% of the agents in the United States sold either one transaction or zero. And that was in a world where agents could say to a buyer, I do all these things for you and my services are free. It doesn't cost you anything to use me. And now we're stepping into a world where immediately before showing a buyer a home, you've got to get the buyer signed to a buyer agency agreement, and the fee is going to be disclosed and agreed to. Most agents are not going to be prepared to be able to do that. What have you guys been doing as far as training and educating your team to prepare for these changes?
Robert, why don't I share the training and then you go into the VIP buyer program? Is that okay? It's been an eye-opener for everybody in the real estate industry, our competitors as well as our own team. It's been a whole transformation for them to understand that the new program is that sellers don't have to pay a buyer agent commission. And actually, that process was really chaotic. It's really odd to ask a client, a seller, to pay a buyer agent to negotiate against them. Just think about that for a second. Kind of like going into court, and before you start negotiating, you say to the other lawyer, we're going to pay your legal fees. Just bad negotiating. It was a bad system. We want our agents and we want our co-op agents to get paid. We want everybody to get paid, but we just don't think that the seller should be responsible for footing the bill if somebody's going to negotiate against them. So we've been really focusing in on our guarantees and creating value from a seller listing standpoint and from a buyer agent standpoint. Because if you don't have an extraordinary value package, you're going to be out of business. And I'm going to repeat that again. It just can't be that I know the area. I'm really good. That's not going to cut it. People don't need you to find a house anymore. People can find it on their own. They're looking for off-market properties. They're looking for strategic negotiators, and for you to educate them on the community and to bring them value that they can't get anywhere else. And that's what we've been focusing on with our team, to help them differentiate themselves from the competition and to make them feel confident.
What was funny, you mentioned the word cooperating agent, Bob, and that's what you and I were taught when we got into the business is the agent working, when we're the listing agent, the agent working for the buyer was the cooperating broker. And the truth the whole time was that was the competing agent, not the cooperating agent. And so, yeah, we look back at it and we go like, it's kind of crazy the way it worked. We accepted it. That's the way it always worked. And now I think everyone would agree that, yeah, everyone should have their own agent. Everyone should pay their own agent. And that's the way it should have been from the beginning.
Craig, Craig, prior to about a year ago, Robert actually came to me. He said, "Dad, how's it feel to be one of the top agents in the world? You've been involved in over 50,000 home sales, and you get paid the same as a discount broker. I won't name any brokerages, but you get paid the same." And it really hit home like, wait a minute, what am I sharing this commission for when I'm doing all this work and I have this skill level? This person is just a showing agent and they're opening a door and they're going to get paid the same or close to the same. I'm like, wait a minute, something's wrong here. So I believe you should get paid, but you should get paid in direct proportion to your worth. And I believe I'm worth a lot. You all in this podcast, you should believe that you're worth a lot and that you should get paid and that you deliver extraordinary value to your client. You shouldn't have to give up your fee because somebody else is not capable of negotiating their fee or showing value.
Right. And when you work on the buy end, you should be able to have the opportunity to negotiate your fee versus accepting whatever was being offered on MLS, which of course is completely going away. And what will be offered is zero. So every real estate agent will be forced to, for the first time, negotiate their fee. And I shouldn't even say for the first time, because in the Craig Proctor organization for 8 or 9 years, we've been teaching our members how to negotiate their own fee. And how to get the seller to pay for it, which is, years and years ahead of its time. The reason we were teaching our members back 8, 10 years ago to negotiate their own fee rather than accept whatever's being offered on MLS is primarily because we didn't like what was being offered on MLS. We didn't like the fact that commission to the buyer broker was going down and down and down. We wanted to be able to negotiate our own fee, not what somebody else had negotiated for us. But I don't think back then we really, envisioned that the buyer commission would go completely away. But that's why Craig Proctor members are very well positioned for this. I also think that listing agents are going to earn more money because of these changes now that you're not forced to split or pay part of it to the buyer broker. And I think listing agents deserve to be paid more, because we will have more buyers go directly to the listing agent because they don't want to pay. They don't want to pay a buyer agent. They're going to go directly to the listing agent, and listing agents will be doing more work. What's your opinion on that?
I think it's very probable. In fact, it's already happening. I mean, just in the first 4 months of the year, basically our goal is to compete in a category of 1. If we look at the last 20 years, agents are salespeople that are not responsible for collecting their own compensation. Are we surprised at all that those agents became very lazy salespeople? No, they were service-oriented people. Now they're forced to be sales-oriented. On the listing side, it's always been skilled, but we were compelled in this structure where we were splitting commissions. As soon as the veil's been lifted and you go in there, we're back in the sales role. We define our offer and we dictate our compensation. And so Bob has effectively, about 2 years ago, Bob would have had to sell $22 million more of real estate in the first 4 months of this year to make what he made this year. So he's finally getting to a place where he's actually collecting what he's worth. And on the buy side, you can do very much the same thing.
Yeah, it's a real paradigm shift. And once you become good at it, of course, you never go back once you learn that skill of negotiating your own fee. So you're selling a lot of real estate, you're selling the real estate at a higher fee, and you're providing much better service and better results for your clients, so you deserve it. Now, as far as how the business comes to you, is generally most of your clients just calling you? Are they referrals, or they're responding to your marketing versus outbound calls?
So the business is split between agent generated and company generated. On the company generated side of business, where we really dominate is on online lead generation. We were actually a Google case study last year, and they found that we outperformed the market by 6x. So they called us up and said, hey, we'll give you a boatload of free ads if we can study what you're doing. So we have a really good lead funnel that funnels into our ISA team that's run by a guy who was a former director of the ISAs at Rocket Mortgage. So it's the cream of the crop. So that's our inside sales funnel on the company side. The rest of it's generated by agents.
And how many inside sales agents do you have right now?
7.
7. Okay. So you've got basically a leader of the ISAs that, coaches them, trains them, keep them accountable. And how many outside sales agents would you have?
In Maryland, we have a little bit over 100, and then we have agents across the country. Not all the teams are participating within the ISA program, but we have teams throughout the country.
So Bob, what drives you to keep expanding and keep doing this? I mean, you obviously love it. You don't need to work. You don't need to certainly work at this level. You must really love what you do.
Craig, just like you don't need to work, but you love doing what you're doing. So I'm competitive like you are, and I love working together with people that are highly motivated that want to achieve their best. I was a coach, and I used to coach my kids in baseball and sports, and I love coaching kids and helping develop them. I love helping to coach our agents to help them achieve their fullest potential. As long as they want to achieve at a high level, I keep coaching. But if I have to motivate them, or I'm more motivated than they are, game's over. I'll go find somebody else. I consider this a game, and I love playing the game to see how good we can get, to see what we can accomplish, how many people we can serve, and how we can win. And so my goal is that have teams throughout the country and internationally, and then I'd love to go train and coach those teams in Italy and Switzerland and coach them, and then spend a couple of weeks vacationing. I think that'd be a combination of work and pleasure. And I love being the hometown expert, being the mayor of the town. We have a large presence in Maryland, and it's nice being a part of the community. It just feels good when I'm not going to have fun. I'm going to go sit on the beach.
I think you're always going to have fun doing it. The nice thing about this, Bob, is you now get to spend your time doing the parts of real estate that you really love. You have a team. You're very good at delegation. You understand this model, and you understand that you expanding your market share and selling more houses really has nothing to do with you personally working longer hours. In fact, you're probably working less now than you were back when you were selling a lot less real estate. You really have mastered the formula here. There is a lot of real estate agents, or are a lot of realtors that will be watching this thinking, how could anybody sell so much real estate? And if I was to do that, I would be giving up my life to my career. And that's absolutely not true. That your income is not tied to the number of hours that you work. What types of things do you focus on now? These parts of real estate that you really love. So what would be your rainmaker activities?
First off, what you said about earning, I love getting paid what we're worth, so you can earn more and you deserve more, and people don't mind paying more as long as they net more. So we're having net conversations more than we're having commission conversations. But I would encourage everybody out there, after doing this for a long time and succeeding and failing many times, that I stay focused in my lane. I love coaching and helping develop our teams and individual agents. I love listing. I'm not a buyer's agent, but I coach people on how to be great buyer's agents. But we're very good at listing houses and driving, and that's kind of the engine that drives a lot of leads for the company, is that our brand is everywhere. So we focus on leads, and then they produce an incredible amount of, we focus on listings, and they produce an incredible amount of buyer leads. But I don't get caught up in the weeds. I just stay focused every day on what I love doing, which is pursuing high price and good quality listings. 2, coaching our team. 3, recruiting highly motivated people that want to excel. And then 4, working together with ideas with Robert and the marketing team on how we can grow and generate even more business. That to me is fun. It's kind of like playing the game.
It is fun. I love the strategy part of it. I love trying to, figure out the problem or do better. I guess it's just something inside of us. But you said, lead generation, you focus on coaching and training. And that's the secret to why agents want to come and partner up with you, because you're giving them the business. You've got an overflow of business coming at you. So you've also got the coaching and training necessary to help real estate agents become extraordinary inside your company. And you've got a system now, a really good system for recruiting the agents. And so this is many systems over many years that you've perfected. And at some point in your career, the light went on and you said, I really like this and I'm good at it. And you've just been exponentially growing this. In fact, I'm guessing if you have a year when you don't exponentially grow it, you find that a challenge or maybe frustrating because that's just your nature. You want to build it bigger and better and faster.
You're either alive, you've heard the quote, you're either alive and growing or dead and dying. And
Yep.
when you feel like you're growing, it's a positive feeling. Now, we have intentionally cut back over the years to go forward. So we realized we were partners with not the proper people. They're good people, but they weren't aligned with our goals. So we've redefined some of our programs. You mentioned selling system. You know, when you go out on a listing, everybody else is just talking about listing your house. We tell people now, thanks to your advice, we have a selling system and we have a selling process, and they're intrigued by that. So trying to perfect what you're doing and be better at it is part of the game, and just seeing how much we've evolved over the years and how much we are going to be in the next couple of years gets me excited.
So what kind of things do you do to recruit agents, meet agents, and what kind of sifting process? You're not taking anybody on. You're in a position where you're highly selective. And the reason you're highly selective is you spend so much time coaching and training them. You want to make sure, you know, you've got the right people on the bus.
You're 100% right, Craig. I will admit that we're transitioning some of our business. One of the things that we probably weren't as good at, but we're focused on now, and we're trying to turn the Titanic around, is we're establishing more standards and accountability. We're being a much more decisive about people that we want to bring on the team, and they have to go through a certain training program. Robert will elaborate on. It's called Grit Week. We want to see who's going to really follow through on the program, because one of the greatest disappointments is to go through all this work and then the person quits, and then I feel like I let them down and we let our team down.
Yeah, it's a horrible waste of everyone's time to spend months and months with somebody and then they say, "Hey, Bob, you got a minute?" And you know they're out the door. So yeah, we want to make sure that we're attracting the right people, and we're only hiring and spending time with people that we feel are really going to make it. But Robert, tell us about, what's it called? Grit Week?
It's called, so the first part is called Grit Week. It's a 5-day boot camp.
Okay.
Basically, our teams grew so fast. We grew from 30 million to 850 million just in Maryland alone. And then we hadn't even started a single other team yet. And when we started launching those teams grew, but then they eventually plateaued. And the number one point of feedback was team leaders were rainmakers in production. If they were doing the recruiting, they had no time to train and onboard them. And so as a result, they said, "Hey, I don't have time to train them, so I'm not going to recruit." So in order to recognize that as an opportunity and to solve that, offer a solution, we built out basically, it's a learning management system, just like you would have in a college course. And so there's live components, on-demand components. And so agents go through, essentially, it's called Lucrative University for a 5-day boot camp, and then a 100-day course, a full semester, to get them from start into production in their first 130 days.
So it is like a university on how your system and your business works. So you're recruiting agents constantly. They're going through this very intense training. And if they don't make it through the training, obviously you're not hiring them. Are there standards to stay on your team? So I go through grit training. I go through everything I need to do to become part of your team. What standards do I have to produce at to stay there?
Well, if it was up to me, the standards would be higher, frankly.
I'll just say, so on my team, I was doing 500 to 600 transactions a year, and I was doing it with I probably had 8 to 10 outside sales agents. But my standards were, you had to sell a house, 4 houses a month. You had to sell a house a week. And if there was a month where you didn't do that, you would go on probation. And if there were 2 months where you didn't do it, you were off the team. So, but the thing is I was able to keep these top agents for a long time. I had one agent for 22 years, another one for 20 years. So the key was finding these draft picks. That's the way I always looked at it. Coming from baseball, you can relate to it. But I was always looking for an agent that was going to be a superstar before they actually knew they were a superstar. One of the first agents I recruited, her name was Lindy Black. I think she was like 1 year in real estate. And she brought a buyer to one of my listings. That's how I met her. And this was at a point, Bob, where I had so much business. I was single at the time, so wasn't married, no kids. I could work all the time, but that was getting old, right? I remember not being able to go out on all the listings I had. And so when I hired her, I just started training her on, this is how, I work with buyers, and this is how I work with sellers. And it worked. And then I hired the second agent and the third, because it didn't take long for her to come into the office, hair all over the place, like, I can't do this. And that was really an epiphany for me to understand that I could find somebody and teach them how to get the same results that I was getting. And then I read Michael Gerber's book, this book right here, The E-Myth. And it's a great book, isn't it, Bob? When I read Gerber's book, and he said, how big could your business be if it didn't depend on you? I started thinking, well, how big could my business be? How many homes could I sell if it didn't depend on Craig? And that's exactly what I tried to do. I was trying to figure out how to delegate as much as I could, so that, Bob, I could be in that position where you're in, where I'm doing these key rainmaker activities. They were the activities that I loved. And I probably loved them because I was really good at them. Like, I was really good at the marketing. I was good at recruiting. I was good at training and coaching. Well, I mean, that's how I got into coaching agents, is I kind of figured this out. And once I had the confidence that I could teach other agents how to do it, I'm like, well, why am I only teaching agents on my team how to do this? And in essence, for the next 30 years, started sharing what I was doing with everyone else. So I want everyone listening to this to know that it starts off kind of small, but this thing gains momentum. And don't be intimidated by when I say I was selling 600 homes, or Bob's organization doing almost 2,000 transactions. When this is set up properly, it doesn't mean you trading more time. It means you doing the things that you love. And that's what's happened is you guys are making way more money. You're serving more people. You're focused on, dialed in on the things that you really, really love. And you've really changed the lives of all of these people that are part of your organization. Like, real estate's pretty cool when we think about the fact that we get paid to do something we love, and we're selling something that people actually want to buy.
Yes.
We're not selling people funeral plots or life insurance. We're actually selling a dream, which is buying and selling real estate. Now, what advice would you give to an agent that's doing pretty well? And maybe they don't have a team right now, and they have a reason why they don't have a team. Maybe they think they can't support a team, or they're worried about dividing their commission. We all get to that point in real estate, if you're good at this, where you can only take it to a certain level by yourself. Go back in time, Bob, to that point where you were successful, you were good at this, but there was a limit to what you could accomplish as a solo agent. If you can remember back to that time, what were you thinking, and how did you get over that threshold?
Well, first off, there's 5 things we look for when we hire somebody. It's 1, integrity. 2, they got to be a team player. 3, they have to be coachable. 4, have a servant's heart. And 5, which is really important, they have to have the tiger in their eye. They have to have passion. I used to tell my kids all the time, and they're all very educated and play sports at the highest level. You can be the smartest one and get a great degree, but if you don't have the drive, you won't be very successful. So those are the 5 things that we look for. I look for people that are highly motivated. So if somebody wants to go to the next step and have a team and to grow more, you can do it. First mistake we made was I didn't really have a coach. We did it. We thought going to seminars and talking to different people would be enough. But now we have several coaches getting different feedback in different areas of our business. So 1, I would have hired a coach much sooner. 2, would be to disengage. Disengage from the stuff you're not good with. I know that I'm not good at technology. I'm not good at several things. I love rainmaker activities. I love listings. I love recruiting looking for new team members. And I love bringing business to the company. It gives me great joy to bring business and share it with the team and then watch them grow. To detach from things that you don't want to do. Stay in the proactive phase of generating business. Don't get into the weeds. Those would be my biggest suggestions, and have an accountability partner, coach, that can guide you on this process, but you have to establish the standards. We didn't do that in the beginning. I was a nice guy. I believed in people. If you work hard and I believe in you, we'll keep trying hard. I should have laid harder standards in the beginning. I could write a book on the mistakes that we've made, and now we're course correcting. But that's the joy of this business, is you're constantly learning.
Well said. Now, let's say I'm watching this and I want to know more about partnering up with you. Who should I talk to, and how would I get in contact with you?
Reach out to our director of growth. Her name's Jennifer Sims. You can go to lucidocareers.com/income guarantee, because we actually will guarantee that you'll double your investment with us in the first 12 months, or we'll pay the difference. So that's how confident we are. We know how to help you guys make a lot more money per sale, add additional ancillary income sources. So we're so confident that our teams will make more money than they can imagine, that we actually guarantee it.
Okay, that's really great. Can you repeat that again? I want everyone to hear about that guarantee.
Yeah, so it's lucidocareers.com/income guarantee. And the guarantee is that you will double your investment with us in the first 12 months, or we'll pay the difference.
You're going to double your income in the first 12 months. We'll pay the difference. Now, we will drop that domain, that landing page, into the comments below so everybody can see that. Now, folks, give us your comments here. What do you think about what you're hearing today? Is this stretching your paradigm on what is possible in real estate? Imagine becoming the dominant real estate agent, not only in your city, but in your state, and then expanding all over the country and into different countries. You're not limited by geography. You're not limited by your own personal ability or the hours in the day. And you can have longevity. Okay, like myself and Bob, we've been around for a long, long time, and we still love getting up and doing what we're doing. Some people don't understand why you would go to work when you don't need to go to work. And I've found that people that are really, really successful love what they do, and they have a difficult time differentiating between work and fun. They really, really like it. And I know I can speak for Bob. That's how we really view this. Is it's a game that we love to do. It's something that we love to do, but it doesn't consume our lives. It allows us to have a life outside of our business, which is what all of you should be striving for. Also, Bob he works with his family. He has bettered the lives of the agents in his organization. He's able to serve thousands of clients every year. So this should be something that you're interested in, is what can I learn from Bob and from Robert here today? And I would definitely reach out. You've got nothing to lose. It's a conversation, and that's where all good things start. Bob, I'm not sure how you and I met way back in the start, but do you remember that? How did you meet me?
I was when I got into resales, I just picked up the phone and called Remax, and I went to Remax, and then somehow I saw your name somewhere, and I went to your conference, and I went to the seminar, and you were on stage, and I was blown away, because this is something that I never heard from anyone else. And I just attended a Jay Abraham seminar, and he and Dan Kennedy, some of the top marketers in the world, you had engaged Dan Kennedy, and a lot of your ideas were what I believed in. And I'm thinking, this trainer coach is totally different than any other coach. All of them bring value, but you bring something nobody else does. You make everybody stand out. And we made a big mistake. I made a big mistake. So I put all the responsibility on me, that I did not continue with you. And that was a big mistake. So
So you started with me in 09, and then you left the Craig Proctor system for a bit. And then what year did you come back?
We just came back last year.
Okay, obviously it benefits me for you to talk about this mistake, but why do you say, what do you think that cost you? Why did you leave, and why do you think specifically that was a mistake in the years that we were apart?
When I joined you, there was a good, very nice coach, but I was in a certain program with you and I with your group, and then somebody came along and said you need to be in another group.
Right.
And I had two coaches from Proctor organization, and I did not implement the way I should. I'll put the onus on me. It was not your fault. I did not execute the way I should have, and I wasn't as engaged as we are now. That's why I brought Robert into this. When I went down to Georgia to meet Todd and your team down there, Robert was fully engaged, and now he speaks with your team as much as I do. And now we are fully engaged. We can't get enough. And you've helped our business substantially. Had I stayed with your company, I think we'd be double or triple where we are today. Easily. Easily. That's just by the way, I'm just not saying it to,
Yep.
And I don't get paid to say this, everybody. So if you're on this podcast, you're watching this, we pay the dummy tax for a lot of things that we shouldn't have been doing. And I believe that had we been implementing these systems and processes, we'd be light years ahead of where we are.
I appreciate you saying that. That means a lot. Okay, we have some information I want to share with everyone today. We were talking earlier in the interview about the changes that are happening to the industry and the fact that they're on MLS, the buyer commission box will go away, and every real estate agent in the United States, starting sometime around August of this year, before you show a buyer a home, you need to meet with the buyer, get the buyer signed to a buyer agency agreement that clearly specifies how you're going to get paid. We have some information on how this came to be and how you can get coached up to survive and thrive and be able to adapt to these new rules. I'd like Faith to do a screen share here, and I'm going to show what we're going to give away today to help everybody. There's no cost or obligation. Nobody's going to call you or anything like that, but it's the report's called The Future of Buyer Commissions. And it talks about how we got to this point, the lawsuits, how they came to be. And the NAR, of course, lost, and they had to make compromises. So what does that settlement look like? And most importantly, how is that going to affect the entire real estate industry, the real estate agents and the buyers and sellers? So we did, my company did a fair amount of research in putting this report together. And I want to, in a way, to thank everybody for being with us here today and staying for the entire interview. If you would like this information, it is very good. Please drop your email address into the comments below. Okay? If you drop your email address into the comments below, we will send this out free of charge. Also, if you're at a point in your career where you've decided, you know what, maybe I would benefit from having a coach. As Bob mentioned, he's got several coaches. And, he said today, the biggest mistake was in 2009, I left Craig Proctor and I came back just recently. And how much money or time, what's the opportunity cost of that decision? Well, everyone is going to make decisions about their career, and whatever you're doing right now in real estate, you didn't invent it. When you get into real estate, you look around at what other people are doing, you get advice. Maybe you have a coach right now that you're not happy with, but there are best practices. And we're prepared to do a free breakthrough call with anyone that would like that. If you go to proctorcall.com, again, we'll drop that link below into the comments. Proctorcall.com is a clickable link. And you can go to my company's day timer and book a day and a time that works for you. And what I'm promising you is if you do this, and don't book a call, please, if you're not going to show up, and don't book a call if you're not serious about your real estate career. But what Bob said a few minutes ago is when he came to my first seminar, there was a light bulb. Something resonated with Bob when he heard my message, and he said, "This is something of value. This is something that's different." And that would be my gift to you, is to ask you some questions about your business and where you want to go, and give you my advice. And if you like my advice, maybe we're working together like Bob and I are working together. And if you don't, then you go do something else. But I wanted to offer those two pieces of information. The report on buyer commissions and the new changes in the real estate industry that are starting here soon in weeks, and to offer you a free consultation. Also, if you want to be part of a winning organization, you don't need to call Craig Proctor. You can just call Bob. He is already implementing the Craig Proctor system at the highest degree. Okay. Anything that you want to do in real estate right now, I promise you, Bob Lucido's organization is doing that. So you should reach out to them. Again, it's a free call. Don't sit and wonder what your career could be like. Make the phone call and at least have a conversation. Okay, there's no downside to contacting me or contacting Bob and having a conversation of what your career might look like if you were to join forces with us and partner up with us. So, Bob, first of all, I want to thank you and Robert for doing this interview. I know you guys are extremely busy, and it's wonderful to have somebody of your experience and your success be with us here to share your experience in real estate. What final thoughts would you like to leave our viewers with before we wrap it up?
I think I'll add a little bit of color. So obviously, as I briefly mentioned before, I came into real estate from baseball, so totally different background, totally different experience. And so when I came into the industry, as soon as I got in, I was quite perplexed by a lot of the ways that the industry operated. And so one of the things I appreciate most about you and how your coaches operate is nothing is above reproach. When I came into real estate, I came from a totally different background, so a different lens, different set of experiences, a background that had super high standards, super high expectations, and like no emotion about it. 50% turnover every year. The best will survive. And so when I came into real estate, it's a totally different environment where there aren't any standards, and the way in which the industry operated, it was quite perplexing to me. It's like, well, why would we do it this way? This doesn't make any sense. Like, success is determined by having as many agents as possible, even if half of them sell one house when it's free to sell.
Right.
And so one of the things I found most refreshing about how your coaches and you operate is nothing's above reproach. In other words, most coaches will coach between the lines. Hey, this is how things have to be done. You just have to do more lead gen. You just have to sell more homes. You just have to do more follow-up. But you guys will actually take a step back and say, hey, why are we doing it this way? Is there a better way? And that's what I saw most eye to eye with you guys, which is, hey, let's start from the get-go. Let's come up with better offers, because the offer will drive a 2 to 4x increase in the conversion rate, and it'll affect the entire sales cycle. So just that alone, if your members, people listening, just took a step back and said, hey, how can I compete in a category of one by making a better offer, an offer that no one else is making? That's where they should start.
Well said. Well said. I hope everybody's taking this in. You guys are listening to the top performers in the United States here. Bob, over to you for final comments before we wrap up our interview today.
Well, thanks again, Craig, for your team and having us on here today. I'm going to encourage everybody, number one, if you're getting in the real estate business, you need to be careful of who you surround yourself with. So you want to make sure that you partner with the right brokerage, the right team, to make sure that you're getting the right guidance. This can be a really hard business, making a lot of mistakes, or I want to follow the person that made it across the minefield, the person that strategically made the best moves. So number one, I'm going to encourage each and every one of you to get a coach today and interview that coach to make sure it's the right coach for you, and then follow the plan and don't stop. I I coach a lot of people and they'll get some success, and then, people go have this high and lows like this. So you've got to be fully engaged, and being surrounding yourself with other people that are as motivating as yourself and that are learning and making mistakes. I think it's incredibly important. I just spoke to our group this morning for an hour. We call it competitive edge. It was great, and we shared a lot of great ideas, but I learned from them as much as they learned from me. So don't ever stop learning in the business. Surround yourself with great people and believe in yourself. You're not an employee anymore. When you get in real estate, you're a company, and you've got to invest in your company, time, dollars, and sweat, tears. But the payoff is worth it. As Craig said, you're not selling life insurance or something that people really don't need. You're helping people grow. You're helping people buy a home, and it's financially rewarding for everybody. It's a win-win for everyone. That's why I love this business, because you're competing, growing, helping people, and you can achieve whatever financial goals you have, but there's no shortcuts to this. Get a coach today.
Wise words. And the coach really does matter. I don't know why people walk around coachless, but who the coach is really, really matters. Find somebody that's actually successfully done or is doing the thing that you want to do. We're going to wrap up our interview today. A big thanks to Bob and Robert Lucido for doing this. I appreciate it so much, guys. Again, let us know in the comments below what you thought of today's interview. We will answer the questions as they come in. And I want to thank everybody for watching the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. Hi, this is Craig Proctor. Hey, I really hope you enjoyed that video. And listen, I've got a lot more information for you to help you grow your real estate business. You see, several times a week, I record new videos and I load them onto this YouTube channel. What I'd like you to do, if you'd like to access them, are two important things, and both are totally free. Number one is I'd like you to subscribe to this channel. You're going to see a little subscribe button for you to click on. And if you don't already have an account with YouTube, it's free for you to set it up. It's really easy, it's free, but you've got to subscribe to this channel. And the most important thing is to ring the little bell right next to the subscribe button. And that's going to let you know every time I load new money-making videos to help you grow your real estate business. So make sure you subscribe right now, you ring the little bell, and we'll see you on the next video.